Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Design with Rusbe. Continuing with CSWA practice problem, today we'll work on question 1.9. Let's take a look at this question. So in this question, the unit of measurement is millimeter gram second. Like always, when we start working in SolidWorks, we need to ensure we are using a correct unit of measurement. Now, looking at this geometry, if I assume we have a third angle view here, this is a front view. You can see the right view here, top view on the top, and bottom view here. Now, looking at 3D model, you can see that on the top view, these four rectangles that we have are kind of associated with these buses. And in a bottom view, you're seeing four rectangles that are associated with the cutout that we have in the geometry. The interesting fact here is that looking at the dimensions, we are having the same dimensions for the buses and the cutouts. You can see that for the buses, we have 40 millimeter by 22 millimeter rectangle, and for the cutout, we have 40 millimeter by 22 millimeter. The only difference is in the depth of these features. As you can see, the depth of the cutout is 30 millimeter, while the height of the buses that we have on the right view, you can see that is 25 millimeter. Okay, so that's the overall interpretation of the drawing. Now, how do we want to model this part? If I divide this geometry into three sections, these buses, middle section, and a bottom section, my preference is to have a box shape for middle section and the bottom section first. Then I use cut extrude feature to make these cutouts, and finally I'm gonna make these four buses on the top surface. So that's how I want to approach this question. So now let's switch and go to SolidWorks and start modeling this part. So in SolidWorks, as a first step, I'm going to check unit of measurement, and as you can see, unit of measurement is correct. It's millimeter gram second, so we are good. Now I'm going to click on a sketch and I choose a sketch command, and then here I'm going to choose top plane. Now I just need a rectangle and I want to extrude that rectangle. So to do this, from a sketch tab, I'm clicking on rectangle menu here. There's a drop down menu, and then here I'm going to choose center rectangle. I click on the origin of geometry and make a rectangle. Now I know that the dimension of this rectangle should be 175 by 100 millimeters. So I click on dimension, I select this line, and I choose 175 millimeter. And for the height, I should have 100 millimeter. Okay. So now this is my rectangle. It's fully defined, so it's time to use extruded bus feature and extrude it. So I click on feature tab, click on extruded bus. I prefer to change the direction. And now here, overall height of this box should be 25 millimeter plus 30 millimeter. So the depth of the cutout plus the thickness of the middle section. So it's gonna be 25 plus 30 equal to 55 millimeter. Okay, that's good. Now I have this box. Next step is to make cutouts in this geometry. To do this, I click on the sketch, I choose a sketch tab, and here I'm gonna rotate the part and I choose bottom surface. Okay, so now I need four rectangles. To draw those rectangles, you can have two different approaches. You can choose to have one rectangle and then use mirror feature to make other three rectangles, or you can simply draw four rectangles. I want to draw four rectangles. So I click on this drop down menu again. This time I'm going to choose corner rectangle, and I make one rectangle, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Now I know the dimension of these rectangles, 40 millimeter by 22. So I click on a smart dimension, and then here should be 40, 22, 22, 40, 40 and 22 and finally 22 and 40. Okay, awesome. Now I have 4 rectangles. I'm ready to use extruded cut feature to make the cutouts. To do this, click on feature and then from the menu choose extruded cut. Here the default option is to have a blind extruded cut with 55 millimeter depth. I'm going to change this one to 30 millimeter, which is the depth of the cutout, and then I click on OK. So now I have 4 cutout features that I wanted. Okay, so that's the wrap for the bottom of the geometry. Now we have to focus on the top surface and then make those 4 bus features. So to do this, again I click on a sketch. I click on a sketch, and then this time I'm going to choose top plane. And then here, what I'm going to do, I click on rectangle and make 1 rectangle here. This time I want to use mirror feature and then make those 4 rectangles just to show you how it works. So I have 1 rectangle. I start dimensioning this part. So this is going to be 40 millimeter and the height should be 22 millimeter. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I click on feature tab first and I click on extruded bus, and I know that the height of this bus should be 25 millimeter. So here I'm going to choose 25 millimeter. Awesome. So now I have 1 bus. So now the next step is to use a mirror feature. To do this, on the feature tab you can see that we have mirror command. Simply click on this command. Now the first tab that you see here, SolidWorks asks you to choose mirror face. To do this, click on this model tree, and then here I'm going to choose this plane, the right plane, to make a mirror. So I click on the right plane. Now secondary mirror, if you want, you can choose the secondary mirror as well. So what I'm going to do, let me rotate this part. I'm going to choose this front plane as well. So you can see this is a mirror line or mirror plane, and this is also a mirror plane. Now here, SolidWorks asks you to choose the feature you want to mirror. What do we want to mirror here? We want to mirror this feature, which is the extruded bus feature. So from this model tree, simply click on bus extrude 2, which is this feature. And now you can see that SolidWorks is showing you the preview of the buses that you want. 3 more buses are made here. So now if I click on OK, you can see that I have those buses added to the geometry. So this is a different approach. I just want to show you, you can do this with whichever way you are comfortable with. Okay, so now I have these buses added, and I think we're done. That's a final geometry basically. So it's time to check if this is the correct model or not. To do this, like always, we're going to check total volume first in the question, and then we're going to compare it with the model that we have. In the question, as you can see, the total volume is 944,900 cubic millimeters. So now let's go back to SolidWorks and check total volume of our model. In SolidWorks, as I showed in previous videos, you can click on Evaluate tab, and then you can click on Mass Properties. And here in this window, you can see that we have a volume. The total volume shown here is 944,900 cubic millimeters, which is equal to what we've seen in a question. Okay, so we found the correct answer, and the model that we have is accurate. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any question or feedback, please leave a comment down below. Thanks again for watching. My name is Ruzbe. Hope to see you again soon in the next videos.